I'm collecting my granddaughter from school, and as she hops into the vehicle, there's this expression on her face. Not upset, not furious, just blank and vacant, as if a switch flipped off somewhere deep within. She's 15. I inquire about her day, and she just lifts her shoulders. I probe if anything went wrong, and she replies, "No." Then, following a drawn-out quiet moment, she utters words that have lingered in my thoughts ever since. Quote 0. I'm George, 87 years old. I've endured wars, economic slumps, heartbreaking losses in the family, and setbacks I'd never impose on another soul. And that remark from my granddaughter, it rattled me deeply, since I've pondered that very question countless times myself. The key distinction is that I'm nearing the close of my days, gazing backward while she's just starting out, peering ahead. Somewhere amid those contrasting viewpoints, I believe I've grasped a vital truth. Our society fixates on making a difference. Folks everywhere strive to etch their legacy, transform the globe, ensure they're not forgotten. It's evident all around. Individuals pursue professions they believe will grant them importance. They share on social media seeking approval. They gauge their value by the size of their audience or how widely their name circulates. I understand the appeal completely. But after close to 90 years navigating this earth, here's the insight I've gained. The actions that genuinely count seldom seem consequential in the instant. Allow me to share about my neighbor, Margaret. She resided 3 doors away for 42 years. Margaret worked as an elementary school educator, remained single, without kids of her own. She instructed 3rd graders at that local school throughout her professional life. Upon retirement, they held a simple event in the gym, perhaps 30 attendees at most. No photographers, no memorable addresses. She received a certificate and some blooms. 2 years on, she slipped away peacefully during the night. At her memorial service, I anticipated a sparse crowd. Margaret had always kept to herself, stayed low-key, yet the place overflowed, with folks lining the walls, and gradually, individuals rose to share their tales. A physician recounted how Margaret was the initial figure who affirmed his intelligence. A nonprofit leader explained that Margaret helped her conquer reading when others had quit. A fellow in his 50s arrived with his child and credited Margaret for inspiring his teaching career. One account after another revealed transformed paths, redirected futures, all stemming from a lady who viewed her work as merely routine. Margaret didn't aim to reshape society. She avoided the spotlight. Instead, she appeared consistently and focused on the children right there before her. She committed their names to memory. She spotted their difficulties, lingered after hours to clarify math concepts or vocabulary, nothing flashy, nothing newsworthy, yet the effects of her existence continued to expand years afterward, influencing strangers she'll never encounter. I suspect we're approaching it all wrong. We assume significance involves visibility, fame, or mass remembrance. But reality operates differently. Life constructs itself from intimate exchanges between individuals, a dialogue that realigns a viewpoint, a gesture of compassion timed just as despair peaks. Being present despite the hassle, attending fully when speaking would be simpler. Such instances don't strike as profound while unfolding. They appear mundane, habitual, readily overlooked. At 39, I hit a tough stretch. My company faltered, finances strained. I overindulged in alcohol, skimped on rest, Failure weighed heavy on me. One night, parked outside a tavern debating entry, a acquaintance named Tom rapped on the glass. We'd crossed paths only a couple times previously. He mentioned grabbing coffee and invited me along. Straightforward, no drama, no sermon, just a brew. We lingered in a cafe for 2 hours. He skipped prying into my troubles. He offered no solutions. Instead, he chatted about everyday topics. His family, a novel in progress, an old vacation. Amid that utterly routine exchange, a calm settled over me unexpectedly. I bypassed the bar and headed home. The details escape me now, but that encounter proved pivotal. It altered my evening's course, perhaps my entire path, and Tom likely dismissed it by dawn. That's the essence of true impact. It's rarely theatrical. It arrives unheralded. No alert signals that your deed reshaped another's world. Usually, you'll remain unaware. You perform what seems minor on your end, it becomes monumental for them, and you proceed assuming it led nowhere. My wife Elena used to pen actual letters, genuine ones. She'd send letters adorned with stamps and all the trimmings. When our children headed off to college, she'd pen notes to them. She'd reach out to long-lost friends she hadn't connected with in ages, cousins, neighbors, anyone who popped into her thoughts. I often ribbed her about it, saying, "We have phones these days. Why not just give them a ring?" She'd grin and carry on scribbling. Once she was gone, I uncovered stacks of replies from folks who'd written back. In nearly every one, they shared how deeply her words had touched them, how they'd treasured certain letters for years, rereading them through tough spells. She never aimed to leave a mark. She simply extended a hand, yet her impact was immense. If only someone had shared this with me back in my youth. Your existence doesn't require grand adventures to hold value. Truth be told, it likely shouldn't. That relentless push to be outstanding, to shine brightly, to create waves, it weighs folks down. It leaves them doubting if their everyday routine suffices, as if tending to loved ones, performing duties with integrity, offering kindness to passers-by amounts to nothing without flashy wrapping. Yet, the reality, the backbone of our society comes from unsung everyday heroes. Parents rising at dawn for ailing kids, employees arriving punctually and excelling at their roles, pals who sense distress and lend an ear, volunteers dishing out food, tidying green spaces, comforting the ill, citizens casting ballots, sorting waste, wheeling carts back to spots. These modest, unflashy deeds prevent chaos from erupting. Wondering about your worth? Glance at those right nearby. Do you engage fully with them? Stay truthful. Extend compassion without expectation. Honor commitments. Acknowledge others' struggles. Cheer their triumphs. Such inquiries won't earn headlines or boost your fame, but they shape whether your days truly resonated. My granddaughter's query has lingered with me. Does anything I contribute really count? I've come to see the flaw in the phrasing. When we probe our significance, we often mean in vast, quantifiable terms, being pivotal, commanding respect, setting records. But importance unfolds subtly. It's intimate, rooted in how your being there or not would truly alter lives for flesh and blood individuals. My grandson, at age 7, dreaded water and steered clear of pools. That one summer, I dedicated 3 weeks, 15 minutes daily, just lingering with him in the shallow waters. No urging, no speeches, just quiet companionship as he adjusted. Come autumn, he was paddling freely. He's 23 now, and likely blanks on those brief dips. But I recall them vividly, knowing my calm persistence might have spared him a lifelong phobia. That's true relevance, not for show, but because it's genuine. As years pile on, I see how much of our pursuits evaporates like mist. Prestige vanishes, laurels diminish, others recall your feats less swiftly than imagined. What endures? The emotions you stirred, the reliability of your presence, the way you validated them amid isolation. Those imprints linger, rippling onward beyond what we grasp. Last week at the market, the cashier appeared drained, shadows beneath her eyes, motions sluggish. I could have settled up and bolted, but I inquired about her day, truly curious, beyond the rote pleasantry. She seemed startled, then teared up, explaining double duties due to her ill mom. Our chat lasted perhaps 3 minutes. I assured her it was noble work, that her mom was fortunate. As I departed, she expressed double gratitude. Would that exchange reshape society? Hardly. But in that instant, for her? Absolutely. So to my granddaughter, and perhaps you, yes, your actions hold weight. Though not as you might envision, they count in the tiny, unpolished instances, the ones unfit for social shares or CVs. They shine when you opt for forbearance instead of fury, when honesty trumps convenient fibs, when aid flows unseen by crowds, when persistence outlasts the lure of escape. Your path needn't dazzle to signify. It merely demands authenticity, attentiveness, generosity, and that's tougher than it seems, demanding vigilance, effort despite fatigue, empathy amid hassle. Yet therein resides authentic purpose, not in the limelight, but in the consistent, hushed efforts of connecting as a person with fellow people. I'm 87 now. I haven't got a ton of time remaining. Whenever I reflect on the legacy I hope my existence leaves behind, it's not honors or acclaim that come to mind. Instead, it's the folks I cherished deeply, the instances when I was completely there, the occasions I lent a hand without seeking acknowledgement, the talks where I truly heard what was said. That's what truly counts. That's what endures beyond me. If this resonates at all, I'd be grateful if you passed along this clip to somebody who could use the message. Leave a note below sharing one little detail you'll focus on more intently. And hit subscribe if you're up for additional chats like this. There's still little left for me to express before I wrap up, and I want to share it with those who genuinely care to hear.